Who are in a state of invasion. But yeah, right now, I mean,
Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 643 of your favorite immigration show on the internet, on YouTube, on Facebook. How's everybody doing today? It is Friday. Are you excited about Friday? I'm not a big fan of TGI Friday. I like every day of the week. I like Mondays. I like Tuesdays. I understand the sentiment, but how's everybody doing? Let's see. We got Traylene is here. Hope, Hina, Nurse Laura, Bahoya 1123, Jay Cruz, Buenos Tardes, Gabriella, Yaronka, Dammy's here. Hello, Dammy. Lindy's here. Hello. Glenn, Lynn. Did I say Lynn? How's everybody doing? JD is here. Traylene's got a seafood boil going on. How about that? We got JD in Ontario. Rich is giving the big ups to all the yardies. The Olympics start tomorrow. Well, our official Olympic coverage will be brought to you by Andrew J. Bloomberg, our Paris correspondent. Maybe we should have him on the show and give us a on the scene. That's a good idea. You know, there's lots of immigrants playing for the United States and for people from other countries. So pretty exciting stuff. How's everybody doing? You guys ready for the weekend? What are you going to do? Something fun? Let us know in the comments something fun you're going to do this weekend. What am I doing? I'm going to Huntington Beach, California tomorrow for Nor's softball. Well, here's someone I haven't talked to in a while. Hello, Jonas.
Hey, Jim.
What's up, buddy?
So I actually did what you said. I actually called local. I spoke to local criminal defense attorneys, and actually on the phone with two specifically, and they went into deep depth with me. One was it was an immigration / criminal defense lawyer. I didn't necessarily care about the immigration because I want that for you.
Mhm.
But the criminal defense attorney got on the phone with me. They looked everything up, and she saw that it was dismissed. She served her 4-year probationary period. The case was dismissed, and that she is no longer in proceedings. That's what she told me. And then the criminal defense attorney said the same thing, just because I wanted to get a second opinion, but I didn't say anything to let them.
Wasn't in criminal proceedings, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So that's no surprise. So that's part of the problem is that her case is over. It's gone. She's done. But for immigration purposes, it's still a conviction. So I'm sure I probably should have warned you that criminal defense lawyers don't like what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they have to go back to court. They have to open up the conviction. It was a 4-year sentence. It was for theft that was possibly over $10,000. So for those reasons, that is a conviction that would keep that person from getting a green card. So of course they looked up the system. They said, "Oh, she did her 4 years probation. That's over." That's a no-brainer. They did you no help by looking that up. We knew that all along.
Okay, if she, because she's honest, she said that it was $700
to undo it.
No, she said it was not the attorney. My mother-in-law. She said that the theft case was $700.
So let me explain that. So that's helpful, but you have to remember, they're always operating from the point of view of how do we screw the immigrant. And they look at the statute itself under which she pled. And remember, the 50 states each have their own criminal code that doesn't match the U.S. immigration and criminal code, right? So there's literally 51 versions of almost every kind of crime, right? Okay. So the problem is that according to we haven't done a deep dive on the conviction, but the paperwork that we have says that she pled guilty to a crime involving more than $750 and less than $20,000. So because the statute under which she pled guilty was for a range in excess of 10,000, then that what my concern is that makes her subject to an aggravated felony and to be detained and deported.
Okay. So then whenever I speak to a local criminal defense attorney, um, I guess how do I present it verbally? Again?
Yeah. So we need to reopen the case,
Mhm.
set aside the conviction, and plead her out to something that would not render her deportable.
Okay.
Because right now, what she has on her record is, I think, makes her inadmissible and probably deportable.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it does.
So, again, if you want me to talk to them, I will.
Okay. I know that they set up an appointment for on Monday. I don't know your schedule. I don't know how it is, but
Yeah.
on Monday at 12. But whatever you see fit, I'll listen to you.
I'll try to give you a little outline in email, okay?
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right. Bye, Jonas.
Thank you, Jim.
Bye, buddy. All right. SM is here. Hello.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Jim, my wife is back home and she's doing a 2-year home residency for her J1 visa. She'll be done with that on September 10th. She was an OPT before she left to do that. And her company wants her to work for them while she's in Iraq, and they're trying to also get her an H-1B for her to come next year.
Okay.
The question is, can she work for them while she's in Iraq?
Of course.
And can she use her our joint bank account to deposit those checks or not?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, from an immigration standpoint, from a taxes standpoint and an accounting standpoint, I don't know, but from an immigration standpoint, no problem.
Okay. That's what I wanted to ask about. I know you do a lot of marriage cases. Do you handle H-1Bs too?
Yeah.
Okay.
We probably do 20 H-1Bs a year.
Thank you so much, Jim.
See you, buddy. Yep.
Thanks.
Later. All right. I got USA here. Hello. You're on mute.
Hello. How are you, Jim?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I was like trying to be on the show since like for a minute to tell you an update about my case.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
So I think you're gonna remember me. So J1 came on a J1, switched to F1, and after a year I got married.
Okay.
And then I went to the interview in Indianapolis. Remember you told me I have to take your lawyer with you?
Okay. No, I don't remember
So
anything.
yeah.
I don't remember people I talked to yesterday.
Yeah, so I went to my interview and the interview was good. The officer was like trying to make me look like I was lying to my wife about my immigration history, that I wasn't telling my wife the truth about my immigration history. And she was asking me questions about my wife previous marriage. And then like a little bit from my side, it was aggressive toward the officer, my responses, and it wasn't good. But eventually the case is approved and the green card is approved and everything is approved.
That's great. What do you mean? What do you mean your answers were aggressive? You lost your temper, you mean?
Yeah, I lost my temper and I was aggressive to my answers to her. And then to a point where my lawyer was like, "Oh, you gotta calm down and answer the questions without any madness."
What made you so mad?
Because she was asking a question to my wife about her previous marriage, and then my wife started to cry, got emotional, and then and then when she was trying to make me look like I was lying to my wife about my immigration history. She was telling my wife, like, these people, they come to the United States, and then by just marrying a U.S. citizen, they get a green card. And that's what your husband is essentially doing right now.
Well, I'm glad it all worked out.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you an update, man. Thank you
Thanks,
for your
buddy.
help.
Congrats. Happy for you.
I have a quick question, please.
Yeah, go for it.
How can I bring my family now on a conditional green card?
What family?
Like my mom and dad?
No. You can't sponsor your mom and dad till you're a citizen.
Okay. Can I grant them a visa at least?
You can't do shit for them till you're a citizen.
Okay.
You can't file anything. You can't do anything. You can invite them for a visit. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, man. Appreciate your help.
Good luck, buddy. Mel is here. Hello, Mel.
Hi, Mel. I mean, I say hi, Mel. Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm good, Jim. How are you doing?
I'm doing
I'll be Mel. You be Jim.
good. Yeah. Question. I'm back again. Question. I'm speaking again on behalf of my husband. I have a question regarding. So, last time that I talked to you, I spoke to you about him filing for the F4 for his sister, and the sister that had the daughter. Um, Now, and I asked you if she could file to ask for international student, and you told us that we have literally 20% chances that she could be accepted for being an international student because she had finished high school. And we had attempted that. We tried that, and of course they denied it, and they said that um yes, the case was already approved. She just needs to wait till
A visa becomes
till
available.
the yes, the visa become available. However, unfortunately, she's turning 21 in October, and my question is that our question is that is she after turning 21 is she able to apply him being an international student? Can we fight for that again, or do you think that she might get denied because financial issue is not an issue at all? um, During the interview, they told her that, oh, why does her uncle want to spend that much money while you already have a visa available for you? You just have to wait. But now she's turning 21, and we already know that she's going to be out of the case, being an adult.
So the question is, if my uncle files a I-130 for my parents, and I was originally on that application as wanting to come, and I know 100% that I've aged out, and I've applied for a a student visa once before, what do I think are the chances that I'll get a student visa if I apply again? Is that it?
Yeah, yeah.
20%. She's rung a bell. I don't have my bell here. My bell's at the office, but she's rung a bell by listing herself on an I-130. She's rung a bell, which says that my overall intention in life is to live in the United States as a lawful permanent resident for the rest of my life. That is inconsistent with me also applying for a non-immigrant visa in which I say I'm coming to go to school and leaving when I'm done. Those two things are inconsistent. So
Oh,
I think she can make the argument. Look, dudes, I didn't file this stupid I-130. That was my dumb aunt, and I never, I aged out. How close are they to mom and dad's priority date becoming current? Do you know?
oh, it says June and June 2009. It's been sitting there, and the priority date right now is still in March for the past how many?
So has somebody done the actual math to be sure that she's going to age out? Are you sure she ages out,
She's aging out.
even with the Child Status
And
Protection Act?
yeah,
Okay.
she will.
Yeah.
We
So I
try
think
to do the math, and it's not gonna, with the way that things are going, how slow the immigration
yeah.
um things are going, it's not going to work. It might not work.
So then her pitch is, I didn't file this I-130. I didn't want to be included in that. I wanted to just come as a student, and now I can't. I'm applying again. And I think in the application for the next F1, she needs to make it crystal clear to them that she's off that case and that she aged out, like actually put the math in the letter. I am not coming on my parents' case. They applied for that when I was 5 years old. I didn't sign any forms. I didn't have anything to do with that. I just want to come and study. Now, you know, the things against it are she was included on the application, and more importantly, the rest of her family is moving to America, which means they're just going to try to have her come on a student visa, find her a spouse, and never go back, and that's inconsistent with the F1. So I think that's why I think 20%.
Okay, good. Well,
Make sense?
thank you. That makes sense. Thank
I
you,
know.
Jim.
See you, kid.
Bye.
All right, Nicole's been waiting. Oh, hello, Nicole. How are you?
Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course.
You're really getting at these every day, huh? That's great.
We did one every day this week. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm engaged to a Canadian guy. We've been going back and forth for the past couple of years, and we're still deciding between the K1 and CR1 visas. And my question here is about the financial support part. And my question is if W-2s specifically are required, because I'm seeing people might be getting like RFEs if they don't submit W-2s. I have self-employment money, and I'm hoping that might count. And I know the financial support documents are a little different for K1 versus CR1, so wanted to see what you
So
think.
financial stuff is easier for fiance cases, but the last thing you want to do is a fiance case from Canada. They go to the bottom of the list. They do not come faster than spouses. Nobody takes them seriously. And the biggest problem of all with fiance visas, I've got a couple of videos on my channel about this, is that they can unilaterally say, oh, this thing expired. We're not going to process it anymore. So every chance I get, I encourage people to get married and do the I-130.
Okay.
And as far as the W-2, I mean, these days what we do is we send in, and if you're self-employed, it's a little different. You need to get documentation from an accountant that documents where your income's from. But if you don't have 3 good years of documented income, and I mean W-2s or 1099s or tax returns and tax transcripts, because tax transcript is how you actually prove that you paid your taxes. So unless you have you look sort of young to me. And so if you don't have 3 good years of earning history, you still have to be the sponsor, but then you're going to need a co-sponsor.
I'm a little older than I look, but thank you. My boyfriend or fiance now wants to keep working remotely for his Canadian company when he gets to the U.S. They have a tax accountant who's happy to help set up for that. But I'm guessing that income wouldn't count.
No,
even though
he could be a millionaire. It's all about whether you can support him.
Okay, and then my last question was, well, you've sort of turned us away from the K1, but my understanding was that he's not allowed to work for a U.S. employer right away, but as long as he's married to a U.S. citizen, he could keep working remotely.
Well, any work that he would do in the United States would be forgiven. So it's good to think about that stuff, but I wouldn't let it determine things. But yeah, you're right. If you come on a fiance visa and let's say you arrive on March 1st, you get married April 1st, you apply for work authorization, that's going to take, 4, 5, 6 months before you can legally work in the United States. If you come on a spouse visa, then shortly after you arrive, within a month or so, you should be getting your work card and you're good to go, or your green card and you're good to go.
All right. Thanks, Jim. We're still figuring it out, but it helps us to be prepared. Hope you never retire.
Thanks, Nicole. See you, kid. I hope to retire one day. All right. That was Nicole. She had lots of nice questions. I thought she looked like she was 12, but she said no. All right. Mike is here, and he's been waiting. Hi, Mike. You're on mute, buddy.
Is that better?
Much.
Okay. Thanks for having me on. My wife, she got approved for her I-485 today.
Awesome.
I'm wondering kind of what's the timeline, and does that allow her to travel, or do we still need to wait for the travel document?
Does she have a passport?
Yeah. Well, she has a passport from her country.
And she's got her green card is on the way, or it came in the mail, or what?
Well, so we just heard her 485 was approved today.
Okay.
The I-130 still isn't approved. Haven't heard anything about the travel document or permit.
Well, they can't approve. So you're a U.S. citizen. She's in the United States. You filed an I-130 for her, and and she filed a 485. And the notice you got today, you got an electronic notice that the 485 was approved.
Yes.
So most likely the I-130 has been approved, because they can't approve the 45 unless the I-130 is approved. The I-131 is something that we've been seeing a lot lately, which is that those fools can't get their shit together on advanced parole. So most people end up getting their green card without ever getting their I-131 approved. And the green card is better than the I-131. So the green card gives her the right to come and go better than the 131.
Okay, so hopefully
they'll send her a letter. Once she gets the green card, she'll get a letter in the mail saying this case has been closed due to an approval of a separate application or something like that.
Okay, awesome. And then I just had another question. Like, how do you see immigration changing in the future, whether Kamala Harris is president or Trump is president? Do you think it'll change much, or do you think it'll just kind of stay the same, be kind of slow like it is?
Well, Trump has promised to deport 13 million people. And in order to be able to do that, I think he's going to literally have to steal all the money from processing of regular USCIS applications and take everything into enforcement. And when I mean steal, I mean move it from one agency to another. So I think that there'll be a huge backlog. And then also, I think the embassies were the things that suffered the most as far as slowdowns, because they just fired everybody and didn't really replace them. As it relates to your wife's case, as she has a conditional green card now, she's pretty much on a path to citizenship that nobody can really mess with except for Congress. And I don't think there's going to be any immigration reform, but if there is, it's not going, I don't see how it could be to make it so that it's harder for her to become a citizen. So if you're just worried about her, I don't think you need to worry about it. If you're worried about general people who like immigrants and those who care about them, then, Trump's going to be a lot worse for people and the immigration system as a whole. For Harris, I think Harris will probably surround herself with the same kind of people that Obama and Biden surrounded themselves with, which I would say, on Fox News, they'd go crazy to hear me say this. Like, I think they're pretty conservative, right? So I think they haven't done much to help immigrants. I think if I were Kamala Harris and if I raise money for her, I'm going to try to get some attention to this. I think they've got to get more liberal, more open, get more people here. I was just reading a story today in the Business Journal here in St. Louis that in 20 years, they're not going to have enough people to work. Like, birth rates in the United States are way down. So, of course, the white nationalists view that as a real problem. They don't want brown people coming to the United States. But I think that demographically, we're going to need to make things easier. And I think that there should be a lot of immigration reform. So if I'm Kamala Harris, I don't go with the Biden version, which is, hey, we're not as bad as Trump. I think you go to, hey, here's all the things that a lot of people agree upon. Like, why do we have these brilliant international students come to the United States? And then we make them leave, right? Why not keep them here and have them start companies and make things for everybody? So that's really sort of how I see it. That's probably more than you wanted to hear.
No, it's great. I never knew about any of this stuff until I started dating someone who didn't live here. And then,
awesome.
It's very interesting. Thank you for all your help.
Sure, Mike. Good luck, buddy. I'm glad you got a green card.
Thanks.
Go out and celebrate.
Okay.
All right. I thought Huli was waving me down. Hong's here. Hong, hello.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me.
How are you? I'm good.
Yeah, all right. So, here's my situation. My 751 got denied about 2 weeks ago, and my N400 also got denied because of that. And I got my green card through merit. And so I had decided not to pursue for the U.S. citizenship anymore and move back to my home country and not refiling the 751.
Why?
But I want to, it's have been long, tired process. And then like my family's still back home, and
I don't know the stats, but I would say that 5%, maybe 7% of 751s get denied. Why? What was the reason they denied your 751?
Oh, okay. So in 2021, the request for evidence, I submitted it on time, like about a month after they requested. But when they sent the denial mail last week, I just found out that they actually never received my evidence.
Do you have proof that it was delivered?
No, I didn't. I went to USPS, tried to ask for the receipt or any kind of evidence, but don't have it anymore. It was too long ago.
How are things with the marriage?
And also the second reason is we got divorced last year. So everything's just like, I'm just so tired of this.
Sure. Okay. I'm not going to try to talk you out of leaving, but I'll tell you this. Unless there was some kind of fraud with the marriage, you can stay here and you can get your citizenship. Yeah, it's a hassle. Yeah, you're starting over. But if it was a real marriage that just didn't work out, then I would say don't leave. Stay here and try to get your 10-year green card, and then wait for that. Don't do NATS, because NATS you need 5 years of marriage anyway. So if you're divorced, that had to be denied. So if you didn't apply if you applied on the 3-year rule and you weren't still married, then that N400 had to be denied. But a 751 solo without your spouse, that's approvable. So don't give up unless you really want to.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. Thank you for the advice, but honestly, like, I feel like it's gonna take like a couple more years.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it is.
I got another job offer on the line, like back home, and my family, everyone just like want me back, and because of the divorce, I just don't feel like I want to be here. So
what question did you have for me, Hong?
Right. So I just want to understand like the option and the possibility in the future. Like, let's say like you said, one days in the future I change my mind and want to like pursue the U.S. citizenship again. I don't know, like maybe I don't know like through what, but then like what is my chance? Is that like impossible or like low but like unlikely, or like what is my chance in the future?
So are you envisioning leaving the United States now and like not coming back for 3 years and then sort of starting back over? Is that what you're saying?
Honestly, I don't have any plans like that. I just like want to see like my options in the future. Like who know, like 10 years, 20 years down the line. I still have a lot of friends here.
So I'm gonna pretend, Juan, I'm gonna pretend that in 2014 you left the United States, you had a conditional green card, and now it's 10 years later, it's 2024, and you're calling my show and you're asking me, Jim, what are my options, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, number one, you're not going to get a non-immigrant visa because you're not going to be able to come for a visit. You're not going to be able to come as a student. You're not going to be able to come to work because you've already demonstrated immigrant intent by getting that green card. You've already told USCIS and the State Department for the rest of your life that you want to stay in the United States for the rest of your life. So that means, for the most part, all non-immigrant visas are off, right? So that's number one. Number two, if you get married to a new U.S. citizen and want to get a green card that way, I think you have a problem, and that is that you never got the conditions removed from this marriage, right? From this marriage. And so we have had cases where we have filed marriage number 2, and there wasn't the 10-year gap. The 10-year gap doesn't really matter. But USCIS takes the position that you can't get a new green card based on a new marriage if you never solved your 751 problem. I think it's stupid. I think it's subject to attack in court, but that's the position that they take. So, like, let me ask you one question. What is the start date on your 2-year green card? When did you first become a lawful permanent resident?
It's November 2017.
So you're already past 5 years. And if I were to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is we had very, very little marriage evidence and 10 is we had a ton of marriage evidence, what number would you say you had as far as evidence, even without your spouse?
I would say 6 or 7.
Okay. And then my last question is, if USCIS came and knocked on your spouse's door tomorrow and said, hey, tell us about Huang. Was that a real marriage? And is he a good guy that we should give a green card to? What would they say?
I think even though like we divorced, but like we're still in like good term and like everything was real. So I think she's still like give a good word about me, and she like yeah.
Okay, so then if I'm you, this is what I would do. I would stay here and fight. I would file for a new 751 without a spouse, proving up that it's a good faith marriage. If you hired me, I would as your lawyer, we would try to talk to her and see if she would sign off that you're a good dude. And then I'd wait about 6 months or a year, and I'd go ahead and apply for citizenship on the 5-year rule. And then you probably get everything sewn up in about a year and a half.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
And then Huang, then you can go overseas and live wherever you want for the rest of your life. And you can come back to the United States whenever you want. I just think you're pretty far down the road to give it all up, because basically you're throwing it in the trash and it's messy for you the next time.
Right. So actually, like I have like I thought about that a lot, and it hard for me to like conduct these decisions. But I have a second question, and I want to ask you. You can answer already, but like like you said, like it's impossible for me to like, let's say I throw it down the chat like this. Is that impossible for me to go back even just like to visit, like with a B1, B2 visa or something like that?
I think non-immigrant wise, they're not giving you had a green card, and from their point of view, if this all happened in 2010 or 14, in their point of view, you threw it in the trash. You said, screw America, I'm leaving. I don't want it. I don't want to be a resident. I hate this country. I mean, you're not saying all that, but that's how they feel, right? So, and you told them that you wanted to live here before, and they let you, and now you're saying you just want to come to visit. I mean, there's an argument to be made that you abandon your residency and therefore you should be able to come for a visit, but I don't think any embassy is going to give you that visa.
I see. I heard that like one of them says like on like said like I should file for 407, but like is that gonna do anything?
Well, yeah, you get the 751 approved, then you get your citizenship. What do you mean?
No, 407. The abandon of lawful.
Oh, I don't know. I don't deal with those. I have no idea.
Okay, got you. Yeah. That's all question that I have. Thank you so much.
Sorry you're going through all that. See you, buddy.
Thank you. Bye.
I mean, that's one thing we don't really talk about a lot is that, you know, there's real fatigue that sets in. People get really tired when they've been waiting for years and years for a goddamn decision. Guy's been married since 2017 and they finally deny it. And then he's like, screw it. I'm just throwing in the towel. I get it. I totally get it. It's just not fair. This is the Immigration Answer Show. My name, Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer extraordinaire, practicing law throughout the United States, out of our offices in San Diego, CA, Washington, D.C., and STL Mo. I'll be here for the next half hour or so trying to answer all of your immigration law-related questions. We're going out for Mexican tonight. We have a new Mexican restaurant that we really like called Casa Juarez. So I want to hear in the comments, what's your favorite thing to get at the Mexican restaurant? What's your favorite thing to get? Me, myself, I like the fajitas. I love getting fajitas. Usually carne or pollo fajitas. I don't really say fajitas. I'm just being silly. But really, the one thing that always makes me laugh is from Napoleon Dynamite when his aunt would always say, go get your chimichanga. Chimichangas are good, but they're fried, so I don't think they're very healthy. I think fajitas are about as safe as you can go eating-wise if you stay away from the, oh my God, tongue tacos. Oh, CG wants a tongue taco. I don't know about that. Would you guys eat a tongue taco? I don't know, CG. I don't birria tacos. Oh, this place has really good birria. Oh, really good. The boys got it last time. It was really good. I had a bite of those. All right, Max in the house.
Hi, Jim. Thank you to find time. Yeah,
How you doing?
I already like a customer of Hacking Law.
Awesome.
And we start like the process this month almost like 1 month and a half before. And
Okay.
today I got updates when I asked a person who just did in my case. So summons were sent like around like 3 weeks ago, and the lady mentioned that one of the defendant refused service twice, and I just really feel a little bit nervous. What can be a reason of such action, and how it can affect my case? Because they mentioned they did not have such experience before in Brooklyn office.
Which court is your case pending?
Which court? It shall be like in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn?
Yes.
Okay. And which defendant?
It's
is
Gina Pastor, and it's a directorship, so she's like a
So
main.
here's what I would say, Max. I wouldn't worry about this at all. As long as okay. So here's a little secret. Do you want to hear the little secret?
Of course.
Okay, here's the little secret. For the first 600 lawsuits that Jim filed, I never filed proof of service. I never filed proof that I had served any of the defendants. And all 600 of those lawsuits went through just fine, right? So luckily I have paralegals and lawyers handling lawsuits now who are better at paying attention to the small details than me, right? So now, as you know, the rule is that you have to get service on every defendant and you have to serve the U.S. attorney. That's the rule. But the real matter is, the real thing, Max, is whether you serve the U.S. attorney, because that's actually what starts the clock. And I guarantee you that out of the last 200 or 300 lawsuits that we filed, that there have been a defendant here and a defendant there who never got served, but nobody really cares. So unless the U.S. attorney is going to try to drag shit out by arguing, well, you never actually got service on the field office director, then we're not really going to go ahead with this lawsuit. So we've done 2,000 of these, and that has never happened. So I really think this is a non-issue that you need to spend zero time worrying about. Finn, who does all of our service, and the paralegals, they're crazy about getting service 10 times more than I used to. So I really think you don't need to worry about this at all.
Yeah. And another question, I'm just curious how long it can take, because of this refusal. And
I think you're right on track as it normally would be.
Okay. Yep. Sounds great. And also I have another question. I'm originally from Ukraine, and in case when I will be approved for green card in this moment, can I just apply for touristic visa for my mother, for example, or do I need to be a citizen for such actions?
Well, anybody can apply for a tourist visa.
I mean, I had experience before because I'm on asylum case.
Yeah.
And I have a marriage with USA citizen, for past almost 2 years. And I tried to apply it for a touristic visa, and I didn't get any responses. I even applied
for your mom.
Yeah, and I even applied for U4U as well. It's program for Ukrainian people, so you can be a sponsor. And I'm eligible sponsor from financial side, but I never get response from.
Well, here's what I'll say about that. In my experience, when somebody's son has come to the United States and applied for asylum, it makes it very hard for that person to get a visa to the United States because they believe that person is going to come join their son and do the same thing.
Okay, I see. But my main question was about this refusal. So it just really concerned me. And
I wouldn't worry. I would spend. I mean, Max, if it were up to me, we wouldn't even tell our clients about all the service shit. And I would just say, we're handling it. We're getting the case going. Don't worry about it. So really, I don't think you need to worry about this.
Yep, thank you, and I really appreciate you, Jim, and people who work with you for such great opportunity to help.
Who's your paralegal? Give them a shout out.
It's Josefina Chimila. I hope I spell it wrong.
Yeah, she's one of the best. She's great. Josefina's great. She knows what to do, Max. You're in good hands.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you.
Bye, brother. All right, have a good night.
You too.
All right, Louisa's here. Hello, Louisa. I'm getting busy.
Hi.
Hi, Louisa. How you doing?
Good. Great. Can you take your camera for 1 minute, please?
You are off camera, Louisa.
Oh, thank you. Oh, hi. So, afternoon. Thanks for answering me today. So, I have a question. My question is this. Okay, I started first as an F1 visa, as a student.
Hey, Louisa. Louisa, can you do me a favor? Can you hold the mic of your phone up by your mouth because it's all echoey? Are you there?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Okay, so I started first as an F1 student, and later on, my OPT expired. So when my OPT expired, I applied for an EB2 NIW, in which I was approved for that. But the thing is that I did everything concurrently. So I'll explain. I filed the EB2 the same time with the green card, the same time with the work authorization.
While you were still in valid status.
Yes, when I was still in invalid status.
Got it.
So when the EB2 came back in, I sent them the like when EB2 came back approved, I sent it to the for the green card and everything for the change of status. And February this year, I was called for an interview, in which when I went for the interview, it went well to me because the guy said, "Oh yes, you look good," and everything. Like he said everything was good. A month later on, he said I should expect my green card because the approval and everything. After the 1 month, I got a letter from USCIS saying that my case is administratively closed. That it wasn't. They gave me 3 reasons, or they gave me a letter and they said it wasn't yet time for my priority date. In which, yes, I knew it wasn't time, but now my priority date is now. This happened in March. That was when they sent me a letter. In June last month, they sent me a work authorization, in which all this was closed before now. June, I was sent a work authorization for like 10 years work authorization. Now it's already time for my priority date. I don't want to say I'm a bit scared of, because I don't literally understand why they denied the case. Yes, I knew I wasn't valid when everything was happening, or
They didn't deny it. They admin closed it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So which field office did you interview?
I interviewed in the New Jersey field office.
And has USCIS approved the I-140?
Yes, that was approved in August last year.
Great. Okay, so here's the deal, Louisa. So, USCIS officers, some are very experienced, some are sort of new, right? And sometimes they get things that they don't know or don't understand. So you got scheduled for an interview, and then what happened is either right before that interview or right after, the officer logged into their system to see if there was, quote, a visa available for them to grab for you. Okay.
Okay.
So like literally they have to say, like, because there's an allotment every year. Some go to USCIS, some go to the State Department, and they shift back and forth. So literally somebody had to say, hey, visa number 16742, I'm holding that for Louisa, right? So when they did that in their system, it came back and said, sorry, final action date not current. There's no visa available this month for Louisa, right?
Yeah.
So then that officer took Louisa's case and put it up on the shelf. And you would think that she would get that officer would get an email saying, hey, guess what? A visa is now available for Louisa. But my understanding is that she has to actually grab her file, open things up again, and grab you that visa. And she's just not paying attention to it. I believe that's my understanding of how things work. This is Jim trying to decipher, having been through this before with people, what's actually happening. Does that all make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
So here's what I would do if I were you. I would spend the next 2 weeks bothering the shit out of USCIS. I'd say, okay, today's the 26th. Next week's like the 3rd, and the week after that's the 10th or whatever it is. I'm going to call them every day to try to find out if they know that there's a visa now available for me, because in my EB2 category and my country, my final action date is now current, because it is, right?
Yeah.
So I would give them 2 weeks of bugging the crap out of them. If after 2 weeks they haven't fixed this, then what you should do is hire me to sue them to give you your green card, because they're just not paying attention.
Okay. So I would say I've called them for 1 good month. I still even spoke to them today. And they always told me, oh, the case is administratively closed. I'm like, yes, but my priority date is already for this month.
When they said in the letter administratively closing it, did they say anything to you about how it could reopen?
No, they didn't say anything about reopening or anything. They said I should file again when it's time. Have you
made any kind of written request to them to reopen it?
No, I haven't. I went into their office sometime last month to
How'd that
talk
go?
to them.
Yeah,
But they
well,
said no. They said no, I can't speak to anyone. So they gave me an info pass that I should be calling them.
so then you went to InfoPass?
Yes, with InfoPass, I've spoken to like 3 different people because they told me, oh, they were going to refund me the money or something. But
That's not what you want. You don't want a refund. You want your goddamn.
that's the thing. I don't want a refund. So I've been calling them, like literally. Still, this morning I spoke to a lady and she still said, oh, don't worry. They opened the case for you and she gave me a code number for. I'm like, it's not a refund I'm asking for. Because I don't know why exactly did you guys send me a work authorization for 10 years when you're closing the case for the green card. So it's a bit confusing for me on what to do. And people are telling me that I should file again because now it's my priority date.
You could do that too. You could do that too. I think you could do that. Yeah. Problem is sometimes it retrogresses again and you bounce back in time. So I think you're in a sort of a little window here where you want to act quickly. Because I mean, the one thing you might try, if you don't want to just go ahead and sue them, and we're happy to sue if you want, but if the one thing you might do is send them the stupid visa bulletin with an outline of your timeline and explain to them, my shit's current now. You need to admin close this case. Or if you want us to do it and then threaten to sue them if they don't open it up in 2 or 3 weeks, we could do that.
Okay. I will tell you, I don't have a problem suing them. I'm just a bit scared because I was out of status when, during all this process. So that's why I'm a bit.
You mean you were out of status absent the pending green card?
Yes. So, okay, I'll explain. My OPT expired in June 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I started filing for the EB2 NIW and my priority date is for February 7, 2023. So I felt, okay, because of that window between 2022 and 2023, because I was not on status or something, maybe that's why I'm a bit, I don't want to say I'm scared, but.
No, that's good because you might not be eligible to adjust if you have periods of being out of status. So that's that might be why they're sitting on the case.
Okay. So in this case, what can be done? Because on the paper, on the form they sent me or on the letter they sent me, they said I should reapply for them to open the case. So
that's what I would start with. That I would start with a letter telling them my visa number is current, my case was pending, you admin closed it, you gave me my work card. I need you to undo the admin disclosure and adjudicate the 45. That's what you need to do.
Okay.
All right.
Another question. If I'm to hire, because, okay, I'm going to be truthful with you. Whenever I explain this to several people or lawyers, they're like, oh, no, just switch and go to something else. But I'm like, this is something I've gotten this far to get an approval to get so many things. So if I'm to hire you for this, is there someone I can speak to, or is there a way I can get like a quote or something to know what exactly I'm going on with? And
yeah, I would say email me everything with a timeline, and then you can talk to one of our lawyers on Monday.
Okay, no problem. I will try and email you.
Yeah, just sometime this weekend.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye, Louisa. See ya.
Thanks.
All right, Christian's here. Hello, Christian.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
Good, buddy.
Thanks for having me again. So we had our interview yesterday. Everything was smooth. I just need your opinion and 2 quick questions.
Okay.
So our interview was smooth. We were there 10:30. The official and called us in 3 hours later because they were filled.
Is this Miami or what?
Miami, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
The interview was really smooth. He just asked us like 10 questions. They didn't perform as stocks. We were together the whole time. It was like 10 really easy questions. I was with my big folder full of evidence, and he only asked for our bank statements, her first divorce, and our marriage license. Bless you.
Thanks.
And that was it. He just told us, okay, so I have all the documents I need. If I need something, I just mail you. I will mail you to your house.
Okay.
Let me escort you guys out. But he didn't tell you it was approved or not. What do you think about it?
What do they say about the Cuban Adjustment Act or about the cross chargeability and all that stuff?
Nothing. He never asked about it. He just say, okay, where do you guys met? How was the proposal? Let me see your your joint account statements, and that was all.
So this doesn't surprise me. Number one, the system might have just kicked it out randomly to give you an interview, and the officer's like, this is all legit. I don't need to do an interview. So that's one good sign. Another good sign could be that they don't really know much about Cuban Adjustment Act. So what they do know is how to test whether a marriage is real. So they asked you some more questions about that just to get you going. I think you're fine. I think they'll approve it in the next couple of days.
Okay. One question that one of my brothers asked me that are we getting? I didn't know there was two. Are we getting the conditional or the full residence? Because she will get her residence via the Cuban adjustment, so she will get the 10-year or not.
Yeah. I just don't know. How old is your marriage?
We're turning 1 year next month.
So I'm not sure. You might both get 10-year, or she might and you might get a conditional. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care about it.
Okay, cool. Well, keep us posted.
And this will be this approval or not. This will be updated in the My USCIS webpage, or just wait at the mail.
You know me, half that shit's wrong, so I don't spend much time worrying about that.
Understood, Jim. Thank you for your time. Have a great weekend.
You too, buddy. Let us know, okay?
Okay, I will, sir. Thank you.
See ya. Yep, bye. Can I just give a shout out to David? David always gives me good tips and a good member of the group. I always appreciate David's insights. He let us know that for that Ukrainian program, you got to be a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, which makes sense. Alexander is here. Hello, Alexander.
Jim, how's it going? Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
Jim, first of all, I hired your office maybe 2 or 3 months ago to file a writ of mandamus case, and I had my so it worked out well. Thank you for that. I had my I-751 with a waiver interview last week. I was waiting for it for 4 years. So shortly after the case, they called me in, and I filed my N-400 in December. Unfortunately, the interview didn't go very well. And an officer told me there are a lot of holes in my case. He actually recommended I withdraw the case before we started the interview. He believed that I didn't enter the marriage with good faith, and it was a very tough and rough interview. I'm not sure.
Which field office?
Newark, New Jersey.
Did you bring an attorney?
I did not.
That's a tough office, man. They don't play around in Newark. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. So that was last week. I also had my N-400, which I passed. You know, it's an easy exam. I'm not sure what the result is going to be. I'm just checking with you. What are your thoughts? One more thing before I give you the stage. I don't think my wife would give me a letter to support me, even though my marriage was legit. But we've had our issues, and I checked with her if she's able to support me. Unfortunately, she's not.
Any idea why the officer said there's big holes in your case?
So I was married for 2.5 years, and there is a major age gap between my ex-wife and I. But I've submitted good documents. We've had a lot of travels together. I shared pictures, tax, I don't know, any money to the IRS, clean criminal record, bank statements, bills. So I think, to answer your question, I think my evidence, or the evidence I submitted, is around 7 or 8 out of 10, which should be pretty good. But he just told me I should wait for an answer within 90 days. But considering the writ of mandamus case we filed, he said expect a decision sooner than that.
How long was the interview?
The interview was approximately 1.5 hours. After we finished, I felt that we had a mutual respect, me and the guy. Like I told him, he was like, listen, we are on enemies now. We are on opposite sides. I told him, you're professional. Everything is good. I have nothing against you. So we had a mutual respect, and I thanked him. But it was a little bit rough during the interview. Like he was pushing really hard, and I fought back because I have nothing to hide, He was.
What country are you from?
I'm from Lebanon.
And when you married the person that filed the I-130 for you, what was your immigration status?
F1 student visa.
So you were in valid student status.
Sir.
Never out of status.
Never out of status, but he said that he saw that I filed for lottery one time before and that my brother tried to sponsor me. He tried to sponsor me in 2014. And once I determined that these avenues are not working or they're going to require much time, I decided to get married and get my immigration through my ex-wife, which is not true. I entered the marriage in good faith.
How much of an age gap?
20 years.
Either of you married before?
My wife was married long time ago.
Is she an Arab person or no?
She's what person? Sorry.
Is she Arab or no?
She's from Michigan. She was born and raised here, and she's American.
Do you think maybe she wrote a letter to them saying you're a
I
bad
asked her. She said no, and she wouldn't lie. If she wrote a letter, she would share with me. She confirmed that she did not.
And I'm assuming she's older than you.
20 years, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's what I'll say. Every 751 solo that we've been involved in has gotten approved. So I think generally a lot of them get approved.
Okay.
It does sound like they had knives out.
Yeah.
Did he do any like gotcha questions, like, you know, what color is the paint in the bathroom? Any of that stuff?
I expected these questions, but I've submitted good evidence. He didn't ask me anything about that. He just asked about dates, like when did you get married, when did you get divorced, when did you move in, when did you move out. But I felt the evidence that I've submitted made him avoid these questions. This is what I thought. I might be wrong. He didn't ask anything like that.
I mean, that's an unusual. And you applied for citizenship on the 5-year rule, I assume?
Yes, sir. Sir, one more thing I didn't share with you.
Yeah.
My previous lawyer was convicted of immigration fraud. Here is another bomb.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, I had nothing to do.
Have you ever heard the expression, he buried the lead? You buried the lead.
So I had nothing to do with what she was convicted of, but it was just bad luck, you know. She had excellent Google reviews, and I explained that to the officer, and she offered a payment plan. I was under financial pressure back then, so I had no reason not to hire her, you know. But unfortunately,
do you know why the lawyer went to jail?
She was like immigration fraud based on asylum cases. She was doing that
for Iraqis or what?
For Russians.
Was she Russian?
You know, I don't want to throw her under the bus or something, but I can share all the information you need with you. I know we're live. You know, probably a lot of people.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can email it to me. I'd like. Okay, so here's the big question.
Yeah.
I would assume that in the indictment,
yeah,
for the lawyer, they usually say from on or about September 1st, 2020 until September 30th, 2024 or 23.
Yeah.
Attorney X was involved in this immigration scheme. Do you know, even though it was asylum,
yeah,
do you know whether or not your representation by her was during the period of her doing bad shit?
Yes, sir. I got your question, and I checked specifically that she filed I-485 for me, or the first adjustment of status. It was during that period, but I don't believe 751 was during that time. So the first, go ahead.
Was she indicted and guilty in New Jersey or somewhere else?
New York.
Did the officer ask you at all about her?
He told me, you know, your lawyer or your previous lawyer had this thing. I told him, I know, I have nothing to do with it. That was the only question.
How did you and your wife meet?
We met online, and physically we met in a restaurant, but we met online originally.
So not through the lawyer or anything like that?
No, nothing to do. It was 100% legit. Like, I can put my life for that question because I can back it up.
How did you find the lawyer?
Through friends and online. I did a Google search. You know, her rates were very reasonable. She offered me a payment plan, and I had all the reasons to choose her.
Well, if you want to email me her name, I'll look up the indictment. I'd like to see it. But other than that, I mean, a lot of times, well, I'll say this. I think they're coming to your ex-wife's house.
She lives in Brazil now.
Oh, that's good.
She sold the house. She moved to Brazil. So they're gonna find the new tenants.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
So in case it's a denial, what do you think we can do?
Well, it depends on what the basis of the denial is. If the denial is we don't think you really satisfied your burden and we don't think you really proved that this was a real marriage, that's one thing.
Okay.
If they said this lawyer got in trouble for asylum fraud and marriage-based green card fraud, then that's a totally different thing.
I think it's going to be the first, considering I'm assuming they didn't ask me like more than one question about my lawyer.
Yeah.
But Jim, do you think I'm a good citizen? I pay taxes. I pay a lot.
Hold on. You're not a citizen, so don't say you're a good citizen.
Sorry.
You're
Yes, I'm not a citizen. Yes, I'm a good. How can I describe myself? I'm a good
immigrant. I'm a good person.
I'm a good immigrant. I don't owe any taxes. No criminal record. I have a very good job. Do you think that would help me in any way? It wouldn't matter.
It's all whether or not they paint you with her broad brush of the lawyer. And 20 years is trouble.
I see.
All right, buddy. Well, feel free to email me.
How can I get your email? Should I ask my paralegal?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Bye, Alexander. See you, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Rocio, thanks for recommending Alexander come on the show. It was nice to talk to him. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I may do a show tomorrow morning, but I frankly think I have too much to do before I get on the plane, so I probably won't. I hope you all have a good night, and we'll try to squeeze a show in sometime this weekend. Juli, thanks for all your help. We did do 5 shows this week, so that's a lot. The sun's coming out. I might go for a walk, and then we're going to get our fajitas. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you soon. If we don't do a show this weekend, Monday, probably, noon or 4 o'clock? Let's take a look. Juli? Oh, we don't know. Because, next week's crazy for the show. We'll see. Because Nor has softball, and it's all dependent on, I might be doing them at freaking 7 in the morning. I hope y'all, somebody's here. The Nornator. See that weirdo? Come in and say hi.
I don't.
I
look a little questionable.
You can say hi.
Hi, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you. I'm going to California, Donna. Bye, guys.
I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.